And there's so much heroism going on right now behind the scenes in restaurants of people who are doing everything they can to keep their staff employed, keep the lights on, keep and I think one of the episodes that really I love is the Sharon Mays from Baby Greens.
Yeah, I saw that one. Man, that woman, right? Staff to one.
Yeah, she and
busting her ass.
She should be running for city council, or she should be.
Love that.
The way she speaks is amazing, and just her knowledge is so deep on this stuff. You know what she talks about in that episode is about how restaurants really shoulder a lot of the load that society has on eating, and it's not just a matter of there aren't enough grocery stores. If all the restaurants closed, there aren't enough grocery stores, and there isn't enough infrastructure to feed everybody. Grocery stores operate under the assumption that people are going to be eating out.
Yeah.
And so there is that give and take. There's that balance. And without the restaurants open, you're going to start seeing runs on supermarkets. You're going to start seeing people fighting over the last avocado. Like, it's going to get to that point. And so, you have to have the restaurants in order for it all to work. That's the way our food infrastructure has been set up. And so when people aren't wearing masks or not being safe or holding these Corona parties and, getting together over the holidays, they're just extending the time it's going to take for these restaurants to be closed.
And not just restaurants, right? Bars and the live music venues, right? Like, that are just, it's crazy.
Movie theaters,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so all of that is very, you're talking about just this time where it's just this, nobody's really taking it seriously. And so everybody's just sort of sitting around thinking, oh, it's going to end, or there's going to be a vaccine, or there's going to be a whatever. But in that time period, these restaurateurs, these owners from Baby Greens, which is a small place, it's a drive-through. I go there once or twice a week because I love it, but it's just right up on Anderson. It's a very small place, from a little small place like Baby Greens all the way through to I just saw Fabian Rossi just closed, which is like an Austin staple. Like, they have been around forever.
Yeah.
And and everything in between. These places are going to start closing, and it's not going to just be your favorite place that you went to for a fun night out with your wife or your girlfriend or whatever. It's going to be places that you rely on to grab lunch or to pick up a quick dinner for your family because you don't feel like cooking. It's going to be those places, and that's when it's really going to start hurting. And I think that is something that people aren't taking into consideration, is they just feel like, oh, these restaurants will be around, it'll be fine. The restaurants are going to be around. But I think when all is said and done and people are able to go out again, they're going to look around and be like, oh, that place is closed. Oh, that place is closed. Oh man, that place closed. Like, because it's just, nobody's taking it seriously enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 100%. Yeah, there's just so much I could say. I have very intense feelings about this stuff. I mean, you have no idea. Like, it makes me livid. Really, it makes my blood boil when I really start to just think about what people are going through in the industry. And I think about, did somebody tell me? I got out of it last year in 2000, like last South by. I didn't know a pandemic was coming, and I think, wow, what if I still had my shit going, my catering, my food truck? It would be a nightmare. I wouldn't. Oh, dude, I just wouldn't. It's just crazy. But the point you make about sort of the supplemental, right, aspect to the grocery store and the restaurants and the way that works together. I mean, you're absolutely right. But another thing too that I would add on to that is the infrastructure of a food business, whether it be catering or private chefing or restaurant or whatever you're doing, food truck. It's not just you. You've got this, like, right? If you just turn to the side a little bit, oh shit, there's like 100 people behind him that rely on that, the distributor, the source, right, where you're getting your food. How about the people that create food for restaurants? They don't sell to grocery stores. They don't sell to, right? You've got all this back end of stuff that would just demolish the chain.
And that's 100% true. And one of the great things about Austin is it was at the forefront of the local food movement when I moved here. You know, and that ties back to the whole Bryce Gilmore thing and everything. Sure. Like, you know, local food became super popular in the United States in the late 2000s, and Austin was a big reason for that. And so all of the restaurants in town, even even up to when the pandemic hit, when you went in there, a lot of times on the menu, it would say, sir, these mushrooms are from these local farmers, and this beef is from this local ranch.
Exactly.
And all of that. And so many restaurants bought from small local farms here in Austin and the surrounding area. And it allowed for a great boom in these local farms, over the last 4 or 5 years. But it also means that when all of those restaurants closed, none of those farms had any inroads into selling food to HEB or Whole
exactly.
Foods
or they hadn't set up that infrastructure, right? It's absolutely. They didn't have to.
They were doing just fine selling their produce, selling their beef, selling their protein or whatever to the restaurants.
Keep the operation small enough to exactly.
So all of those farms now we're scrambling, trying to figure out, well, how do we get rid of this whole crop that they just spent the last, I mean, this happened in the spring,